10 tips for learning any language fast. These are the exact tips that I use to master Turkish language in less than 6 months. Tip number one, know your why. Motivation dies fast when you don't know where you are going. So it is very important to ask yourself at the very beginning of your language learning journey, why do I want to learn this language? You could ask yourself these questions. Is it for travel, for career opportunities, making friends, or watching movies? It could be as simple as that. You need to ask yourself so you are able to position yourself in the right mindset so that when the time comes, the motivation alone is not able to keep you going. The reason why you started will keep you going so you can master the language. Remember, language learning is actually a mastering of a skill and it's like building muscles and it takes time. Therefore, you need more than just motivation, you need discipline and you need consistency. Tip number two, learn phrases, not words. Stop memorizing random words. Learn phrases you actually use on a daily basis. This is actually how children learn, and it is the fastest way. Children are able to look at the conversations that are going on around them, and rather than learning words, they learn sentences and phrases. You can use sentence banks or phrase books. Focus on common expressions and speak in full sentences easily. Instead of just water, learn, can I have a bottle of water, please? So this is a great way to actually master daily conversations. You can easily go out there and start to conversate. When I was learning Turkish language, I stopped mastering just the words, but I was learning phrases that I can use on the job. So for example, if you're going out on a travel, you know that you might be asking yourself, where can I buy the tickets? Where can I find the bus station? Where is the nearest ATM? So these are some of the phrases that you can master rather than learning just single words. Tip number three, speak from day one. Don't wait to be ready. You learn by doing. Even if you mess up, remember that mistakes are part of the journey and hence you need to start putting into practice every single thing that you are learning from day one. Use language exchange apps, talk to yourself or shadow native speakers, record voice notes. One of the greatest methods that I've found to learn languages is actually shadow native speakers. This can be done simply by watching a movie, listening to what the people are saying, and you try to shadow and try to speak after them. So this is where you're going to be looking at a movie. The person said, "Hi, nice to meet you," and you also say, "Hi, nice to meet you." First of all, you're trying to improve yourself in the most important way of also trying to match up with the tone and at the same time match up with the speed of the people. I found this to be one of the greatest methods to actually master any particular language. So you're going to start speaking from day one. A simple activity you can do is to introduce yourself in the new language you're trying to learn. It could be as simple as, "Hi, my name is Gamel. I am from Ghana. I am living in Turkey for the past 6 years." Something as simple as this, and you can progress as days goes by. You can also do something very simple as writing your daily routine. This is one of the practices that I did when I was learning Turkish language by always writing my daily routines. First of all, starting by writing in the present tense, like I do. For example, I wake up at 6, I brush my teeth, I take a shower, I go to school at 9 p.m. Then you realize I started adding time to it. Then with time, I started going further to giving reasons. I wake up at 6 o'clock because I want to wake up early, something like that. So with this, you are starting from a very simple way and it also feels easy to do. And with time, you realize that you can be adding the past tense, that is, I did this yesterday. And then also you can start to add the future tense by saying, I will do this the next day. With time, this is the best way you can actually practice your English. That is how I believe you can actually improve your language. Tip number four, use the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. Focus on the 20% of the vocabulary or the words that you're going to be using 80% of the time. This is as simple as finding the commonly used phrases in a particular language and mastering them. These are phrases that you cannot do without in a particular new language you're trying to learn. So this could look like learning about 500 words that are commonly used by the people. The second is you have to master present tense, question forms, and basic verbs. You would have to skip perfection and aim for communication. This is the most important part where you start to focus on the very most important things that you realize that without them, you cannot start communicating. The very basics forms of the verbs, the very basics forms of asking questions, the very basics forms of saying, can I get here? How can I do this? These are the most important things that you need. And then mostly all the native speakers are actually using these phrases about 80% of the time. And by doing this, you will find yourself at a very important place. And remember, motivation is key because the more you feel like you're making progress, the more you will feel enthusiastic and also motivated to keep on learning. Tip number five, immerse yourself into the language daily. You do not need to move abroad. You can bring the language into your life. And how can we do this? You can change your phone language, watch shows with subtitles, listen to podcasts while you're walking. You have to turn your daily routine and the things that are around you into the new language that you're trying to learn. So when I was learning Turkish, I changed my phone settings and language into Turkish, propelling me in as much as it's very simple, but it actually propelled and prepared my mind for the new challenge that is ahead of me by bringing Turkish language into my life. So whatever language you're trying to do, maybe you can change your phone settings into that language, start listening to podcasts, start listening to their songs, and also start watching movies with the subtitles turned on in the new language. And if possible, watch the movies in that language and also with the subtitles in that particular language you're trying to learn. Tip number six, use spaced repetition. If you do not want to forget anything you learn, this is one of the greatest and most effective learning methods that you can ever come across. This is where you are trying to not forget the things that you've learned. In language learning, most of the problems that we face is we find ourselves forgetting the things that we've learned. So the probability of you actually learning and losing more things are high. So what we're going to be doing is how can we learn and conserve the little knowledge that we even have? The idea is not to forget. So how can we do this? You can use flashcards and you can use apps such as Quizlet and Anki. These are game changers. What are the steps you can follow? The first one is you need to review just before you forget. So you don't want to forget whatever you're learning. The second is 10 minutes a day will beat 2 hours once a week. So the moment of you spreading the learning phase between days is much better than sitting one time at a chunk and trying to cram everything. Don't do that. Spread it out. And then lastly, add sentences, not just words. It is important to keep on learning things not in words, but rather in sentences. Tip number seven, practice listening daily. You cannot speak what you cannot hear. So you need to get yourself acquainted with native speakers and you listening to the spoken language. Most of the times you will find yourself being able to actually speak, construct sentences, but when you go into real life, you might find some difficulties understanding the new language. So what can we do about this? You need to train your ears to native language speakers and then the speed and the pace at which they are speaking. The first one, you need to start with slow podcasts or YouTube. Use subtitles and transcripts. Re-listen to the same content. It is a very painful practice to do, but it is one of the most important things because not only are you improving your listening, but at the same time you are improving the accent and getting ready to have a real life conversations with people. So I said, simple podcasts, slow YouTube videos can actually help you to ace this particular process. Tip number eight, make mistakes on purpose. Perfectionism kills progress. If you really want to progress, one of the most important aspects that is going to build you is actually when you're learning languages because you don't want to make mistakes and because you're not sure you don't even want to open your mouth and speak and then your brain shuts down. But when you make mistakes and you realize that all these mistakes are stepping grounds towards your desired goal, you will begin to make mistakes and take it as normal. Language learning is not supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be like you're playing a piano, trying new notes and trying new things. So make mistakes on purpose. How can we master this? You can embrace feedbacks, laugh at yourself, focus on fluency, not accuracy. Remember, mistakes are proof that you are trying. Tip number nine, join a speaking club or a community. Remember, language learning is social. You improve faster when you are among other people who are of the same goal. The reason why you feel lonely in life or in everything that you do is because you don't find people who are also in the same shared vision with you. But when you find a speaking club, a group of people who are learning the same language that you're learning, you find a high level of motivation and you might find some friends who are really interesting you can practice with. So how can we do this? Find local meetups or Zoom groups, practice live weekly. And don't forget, learning with other people will keep you motivated and there's a high level of accountability. Tip number 10, be consistent, not perfect. 1 hour a day might not make it, but 15 minutes every day could be perfect. This is where we are trying to achieve consistency, knowing that we are not trying to learn the language in 1 day. Rome was not built in 1 day. So, whatever thing that you do, remember to stay consistent. Rather than trying to spend 2 hours in a week to learn a language on one particular day, I would rather spend 10 minutes per every day trying to practice and do something. It will keep you motivated and your motivation level is high and you're not going to be bored. So these are the reasons. How can we do this? You have to set a steady schedule like 5 days a week. You have to track your progress and reward yourself for the milestones. It is important that you reward yourself and feel like this journey is actually going well and you are enjoying the process. These are the steps, these are the tips that I actually use to master Turkish language in 6 months. Use the same Turkish language to study in a full 100% Turkish lessons, and I became the best student in that department. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, leaving a comment would really help me, and also leaving a like would really help me. This is a small channel, and helping me out with this might be very helpful. And you can also consider sharing this video to someone who might find it helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next videos. Gamma next. Peace. Bye bye. Let's go.